So the match finished Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 3. And there are people that are saying this ain't over. Welcome to my thoughts. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. Coming up, we got a lot of interesting topics to discuss off the back of the game yesterday. Because now there's suddenly a movement for Nuno out. There's people who are saying Forest is still not safe, we're going to go down. There's all kinds of sorts going on in the Forest world. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And if, like me, you are on the beach and you've declared yourself on the beach and you want one of these bad boy Hawaiian tops, then go check out FOCO. The link's pinned in the comments. FFTV 15 gets you 15% off all your baskets. So if you get the Forest stuff, maybe you want to buy a gift for a, I don't know, Everton friend. Shout out to our PSR brothers, Everton. Then, of course, put them in your basket. Use code FFTV15 and get it 15% off all of it. Okay, where do we want to start with this? Because there's a lot to talk about. Look, the game itself, I thought Forest were really good yesterday. I thought they were fantastic. The play was good. The players were up for it. The crowd was up for it. And then it kind of balloon burst at the end. And it was weird, wasn't it? It was like, do we celebrate? Do we not? So are we safe? Are we not safe? Do we wacka wacka? Get the Shakira out? And I'm like, screw it. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Why? Because I don't want to hear Yeovil. I don't want to hear Stoke. I don't want to hear any of this stuff, man. Even if Forest screw up against Burnley, let's say Burnley put on their performance of the season and they beat Forest 4-0. That would still require Luton to go and get like 7 goals. 7 clear goals, that is, against Fulham. Yes, Fulham are on the beach, man. But have Luton scored 7 goals all season? I don't know. Hi, EasyJet FC. Enjoy the championship. Ah, God, I hate that place. I hate that team. I hate everything about it. But the point here is, it's done. Okay, so I'm here to reassure any of you doubters who are still worried, who think Forest can do a Forest. If I'm calling it done, then feel safe. And don't fill the comments in, well, what about Raheem Sterling? You said he was crap. Even when he came on, you still said he was crap and he scored. That doesn't count, right? That doesn't count. I wasn't on the pitch. I wasn't defending. If Sterling scores against you, then you should retire as a footballer, man. Because honestly, he is still the most overrated player I've ever seen hyped up in the last 20 years, alongside the likes of Mopé. And yeah, he scored against us as well. Anyway, let's get on with what we need to talk about. So I think firstly, you can relax. Look, it will be officially stamped next week, okay? But it would be nice for Forest to go out with a bit of a bang, because there is this movement against Nuno. Now, if people want to be Nuno out, go for it. I'm all for that. But I don't think, for me personally, from my perspective, it's the right time to have the debate. Nuno's come in with PSR pretty much, 3 or 4 games into when he started. After starting off well, you had the AFCON come in. You've had all kinds of crap. Just him coming after Cooper as well was never going to be easy for whoever the manager was going to be, with the relationship Cooper had with the fans. But for me, Nuno hasn't got it all right. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not here happy clapping Nuno. For me, Nuno's subs were poor. They have been generally poor. And I almost think the statements where he's going on about the fans are fantastic, game in, game out, I almost feel like it's manufactured. Like he keeps getting told, just make sure you mention the fans. That's what Cooper did. Get the connection with the fans. And what I want to see from Nuno is his human side. I feel we've seen this professional guy. We've seen this guy who's been really like snappy with his answers. Snappy's probably too strong a word. But his pressers just keep getting shorter and shorter. And when I hear these pressers, I want to know what's going on in the mind of our manager. When you think about it realistically, we only have 3 real connecting points in the week with Nuno. We have his pre-game presser, we have his post-match interview, and then you have the little bit just before the match as well. And from that, I don't know much about Nuno. Is he married? Does he have kids? Okay, I know he drives around a Mini because we saw him in it. He likes a good smoke. Cool. I mean, wouldn't you if you're manager of Forest? My God, the stress levels on that. But what does he do in his spare time? Who is he as a person? And I think that's the bit that we are missing to even start a connection with Nuno. Now, if Marinakis was to want to get rid of Nuno in the summer and move on, cool, whatever. You know, it happens. This is football. Nuno's not going to be here forever, like Cooper wasn't. Just like, you know, my time, the best ones I saw, obviously we had Cloughie, but I was too young. And then we had like Sir Frank Clark, he still moved on. We had Paul Hart, he moved on. Cooper, he got us up, he still moved on. This is football. It's a rotational cycle when it comes to managers. But my advice to Nuno is start becoming more personable with the fan base. And I think he will find if he does that, then he's going to get a lot more support on his side. But let me talk about some of the positives that get overlooked. Nuno has improved more players how long's he been here now? 5 months or whatever it's been, 6 months. In that 6 months, personally, I feel than Cooper did in the Premier League era that Cooper had in 12, 18 months, whatever it was. If you have a look at Nuno's track record, Chris Wood, okay, we can say what we want about him now. He's lost his powers, cool. But Chris Wood, under Nuno, was starting to score goals for fun. And his goals, like it or lump it, kept us in the Premier League. Nico Williams developed as a much better player under Nuno. Look at Einar. Look how he used Tavares when Tavares was going in that purple patch. To me, Callum Hudson-Odoi has come on leaps and bounds. Players like that, Murillo as well. Murillo was good before him, yes, but he's improved as well. And he addressed the goalkeeper situation, bringing in Sells. Okay, I don't think Sells is the answer for next year. That's a whole other debate, but he's definitely the answer over Matt Turner. So these things are being ignored, and I think it boils down to the fact of 2 reasons. There still is a Cooper cult. There is still people, if you ask them now, would take Cooper back. And secondly, I just don't think he's connecting on a personal level with us. And I would put myself in that boat as well. I don't feel there's that personal connection with him. So look, what Marinakis wants to do is his business. Forest are pretty much safe. And we really need to just almost put a line under this season. After the Burnley match next week, it's the season that just shouldn't be talked about. The stresses, the PSR, all the Cooper in, Cooper out debates, now the Nuno in, Nuno out debates. I think get to the end of the season, see what Marinakis decides. As far as I think, Marinakis will stick with Nuno. I can't see him making a change because Nuno has met the criteria and the objectives that he was meant to do when he came in, which was keep us up. And add on top of that, he had to deal with the PSR stuff and points deductions and what have you. So that all, I think Nuno will be staying. You're Nuno out, sorry, but it's just my opinion. What do I know? So that's the piece for me on Nuno. Now, in terms of what happens going forward for Nottingham Forest, I think the club needs to sort out a lot of things. I think it needs to start communicating better with the fan base. And not just communicating better with us, but timing it better. We saw Tom talking to Daniel Taylor in The Athletic 2 days before a huge game like this about an emotive subject in terms of the City ground. We saw it a few weeks ago when they released the season ticket prices, and then we had a big game against, I can't remember who it was, but it was a big game. And we didn't need that crap going on. And then we saw Forza pulling out of the Man City thing. There's been a lot of bickering, which I actually think the club has been responsible for in terms of gaslighting what's happening. And even season tickets, they doubled down on it, sending out the tweets. We got 11,000. We got this, that, 50% take up. It's just all really, really bad PR from the club. And it gets rid of that unity that we need to re-establish, especially starting after this Burnley game. There's a lot that needs to be sorted out. And then, of course, there's all the players. There is a lot of deadwood in that team. We know the likes of Hennessy's going to go. Harriata, unless there's another clause in his contract, is gone. There's other players that need to go. Vlachodimos is probably gone. Turner needs to go. I mean, we'll do a whole video on that. But what we need to see is a culling down of this squad, this overinflated squad. and bringing it into a squad size that Nuno likes to work with if he is indeed the manager, which is about 18 to 22 players, something like that. But that's not going to be easy in itself. And on top of that, let's not forget Forest need to sell off £15 million of PSR profits to get themselves above the dotted line before June the 30th, or we could be back in the same boat. We know that Leicester are going to be in trouble next season, potentially Everton. There's talks of administration. There's already talks that they'll breach PSR again. God knows what's happening with Man City in the 115, and Chelsea buying and selling hotels. They can't have many left to cook the books with. Allegedly, of course. So this is going to be, this long-winded thing that I'm saying here, this is going to be one of the most important summers in Forest's recent history. Okay, you can say what you want about the promotion campaign or what have you, but I'm talking about getting our ducks in a row, getting our house in order. As I said it many times on Grumpy Old Reds, Marinakis needs to be make sure he's around the right people, and the right people are advising him and advising him correctly. But I don't think the situation gets better until it gets worse. Why? Because there's going to be the talks about the City ground. That's going to rumble throughout the summer. Going to be talks probably of selling either or both Morgan Gibbs-White and Murillo. How's that going to go down with the fan base? There's going to be a lot of bickering going on, and I just think we need sensible, calm heads to get through it all. So that's my piece on that bit. Now back to the game and back to the actual important stuff, what's happening on the pitch. A lot of you said it yesterday, and I agree with you 100%. Forest are definitely playing better under Nuno, but those stupid mistakes are still there. We saw Tuffalo, God knows what position he was playing in for the third goal. We saw no one putting a foot in on Sterling. We saw Montiel getting done in behind by Mudryk, who's that's a crap as well. We saw Boly looking like he was lacking in pace when he came across to cover it, even though he was fantastic yesterday. These silly mistakes are still happening on the pitch. They're schoolboy errors, and they need to be addressed. But these are hard things to address, because one week it's someone running in behind. The next week it's a corner goal going in. You fix that, then the week after it's no one putting a foot in and standing off. Every single week seems to bring a new similar problem to the issues on how we're conceding goals. And I don't know how Nuno gets to fix that. Maybe it's going to need new players. In fact, I would say the best way for that to be fixed is with some leadership on the pitch. For me right now, the only leaders on the pitch are Sells and Boly and probably Morgan Gibbs-White. I know Yates wears the armband, but you have to be able to look up to a leader as a player who's been there and done it and got the experience in the t-shirt. Okay, I'm contradicting myself by adding Morgan Gibbs-White, but I do feel he fits that mold. Because a leader can be a player who's doing it on the pitch, who's got the skill and the productivity to do so. But I don't know if Boly will have the legs in him next year to stay fit. I don't know if Sells is 100% the answer. There are so many questions that need answering going forward next year. But the bottom line, right now, Forest is safe. And that's all that matters. We're staying up. But these are definitely debates we will be having across the summer. And I'm hoping these are similar debates that they'll be having inside the club. But I want your thoughts on all of that. Let me leave you with this question. What do you think is the first priority that needs to be resolved as soon as the final whistle goes at Burnley? Do you think it's the manager? Do you think it's the stadium? Do you think it's getting rid of some players, getting us under the PSR mark? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. But we're staying up. Easy Jet FC in a bit. Burnley, I don't really mind Burnley, but yeah. And Sheffield, who took another L yesterday. Jimmy, you okay, hun? If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. We got Grumpy Old Reds kicking off tonight. I honestly don't know what time. Maybe 8 o'clock, something like that. And I'll leave the link for the Hawaiian tops and all the other FOCO products on the end screen and in the comments. FFTV15 to get your discounts on there. We'll see you on Grumpy Old Reds tonight. Waka waka. The Reds are staying up. You Reds.